Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, or on Twitter you can find me at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, Thursday, April 27th. It is NFL Draft Day. We do have a split slate. It looks like 6 games early and 5 games on the main slate this evening. Uh, Really tough, going with a 6 and 5 gamer. Like, have to combine pitching into one video really because it ends up being so spread out. And then I will give you a little, I guess, look into another tool we have at DFS Army. It is the Carnage Report. You can kind of see it here. List some numbers for the opposing lineups. We have the early and the main available. The screen capture only catches part of it, but we'll take a look at that in a little bit as well. But uh, on the main slate, the obvious Shohei Ohtani versus the A's. 11.1K is up there. That is definitely up there. But the matchup is just too strong. Ohtani's throwing the ball just ridiculously well. So that is going to be an easy decision for me to play him. Uh, Now we get to the pitching in the Dodgers Pirates game. I'm interested, but man, it's tough. Like, if we keep seeing the same Dodger lineup roll out there with everybody on the uh, what, drawing a blank now, the list. But if everybody's out against Keller, then maybe we have to consider Mitch Keller against the Dodgers lineup. I don't know that we would have ever really considered it, but he's throwing the ball so well. And if we get Jason Hayward in the 3 hole again, that tells you all you need to know about the current Dodgers lineup, if that's the case. Julio Urias struggled mightily last time. Actually struggled the last 2 times, kind of, both against the Cubs. They seem to have his number, hitting 4 home runs against them in those 2 games. But prior to that, he was great. I think he gets back to that. I know the Pittsburgh offense has been doing a little, little better, but they're still talking about Julio Urias, who's was a top 5 or so Cy Young candidate last year. I expect him to be there this year as well. We can scroll down here. I saw that Matt Strom has a pretty strong K score, according to our Carnage report. I'm intrigued. He had a rough outing 2 outings ago, but the 2 around that, he really racked up DK points. It's tough to use pitching against Seattle and feel confident about it, but I actually like the way that Strom is throwing the ball as a starting pitcher right now. So he's somebody that's going to be on my short list. Kyle Wright is intriguing, but it does look like there's potential weather in Atlanta today. Uh, and that is the first game on the slate, so we will have some information, but right now we have it at a 60% chance at a delay risk, 25% PPD risk. So um, Elder didn't really work out too well for us last night, but you know, pitching against Miami right now probably is going to be beneficial for our lineups. One guy that I'm not sure what to do with is going to be Logan Webb. I don't have long to figure it out since the slate starts in a couple hours, but I, he's given up 4 runs in 4 of his 5 starts. Been better at home, so we have that going. But man, I don't know. I'm probably going to end up using him just because I think I need to add another pitcher to my use list because I probably think I'm going to end up on the fade of Seth Lugo. Excuse me. Weather is much better in Chicago today. It's still blowing in, but it's in the 60s. Uh, and I really think that Lugo hits a wall at times this year. We saw it against Milwaukee after he threw 109 pitches in the start before that. This is a guy that's been in the bullpen the last couple of years with the Mets. So he's a guy that I think hits a bit of a wall at times, and after throwing 100 pitches last time out, I could see that happening again here with some control issues, potentially some home runs with the way the Cubs have swung the bat. So, uh, and then like George Kirby, probably going to make my fade list, even though he's pitching better and better each start. I'm, I gambled a little bit and went with Gilbert yesterday. That didn't really work out all that well against the Philly lineup. I think Gilbert has has more upside than Kirby overall. So if I had to make a decision right now, I'm going to go with the fade on Kirby. Now we'll look quick at the main slate, five gamer. We're about 6 minutes into this video, so doing well here. This five gamer has elite pitching options at the top. We get Garrett Cole against the Texas team that actually struggled against the Reds. I mean, they did score some runs, but I believe they got swept. I'll have to go back and look. But and then we get the McClanahan versus Cease matchup again. We just had this, 5 days ago. McClanahan, it's just so good. The White Sox striking out a ton. I think McClanahan's going to be my go-to over Garrett Cole on this main slate, which is tough. But um, we see Cole in 2 out of his last 3 starts has just had 3 and 4 strikeouts. This start against Toronto was really interesting to me because he often was shown looking at his hand between pitches, like he didn't have a feel for the ball, didn't know where it was going, all that. But not that I'm saying like he's going to be a fade because of that. I think he's going to be perfectly fine. But I'm just looking for a reason to get onto McClanahan over him, or vice versa. If something stood out about McClanahan to put me on Colmore, that'd be the case. But I think it's McClanahan for me. But I will be using both. Cease had some struggles against Tampa, but we know what kind of upside he has. So he's going to definitely be in my player pool. I'm just going to probably go a little underweight on him. I haven't looked at any ownership projections. Once again, I'll be mostly fading Haney. I think people are still chasing this 10K and 5 inning matchup against Kansas City. Uh, I don't really want to chase a ceiling game at this point. I know the Yankees can strike out a decent amount, but I just don't really want to have to trust Haney at all. So that's why I'm going to end up off of him. I might actually end up off of Tyler Mahle, which is weird because it's against Kansas City. It's a good spot. I think it'd be better to just go down to Joey Lucchesi. I know Washington. Last couple times we've picked pitchers against them, they haven't helped us out a whole lot. But I love the way that he threw in the first game of the season for him. He was in the video at that time. He rewarded us greatly. Price only came up 1,000. Matchup is very, very similar, if not better, than it was then. So I am going to go with Lucchesi on this main slate. So there's the look at some pitching. We'll kind of switch over to the Carnage Report, give you a little preview of what we do. Carnage Report kind of assigns a grade to it. Obviously, the lower the better. It gives you the xWOBA and ISO of the opposing projected lineup. A metric which we can put together as a K score, and then a Vegas K score as well, along with the opposing implied run total. So, kind of gives you an idea. We get a chart. Obviously, Otani jumps off the page for good reason. And Strom, surprisingly, number 2 in Vegas K score, number 1 in K score on this early slate, which is really interesting. Mitch Keller way down here, especially in Vegas K score. In K score, he's actually 4th on the slate, so interesting to see. And then when we look at the main slate quick, Lucchesi just doesn't have a ton of information for our numbers to generate here, but when you look down here, he's number 1 in both K score and Vegas K score, or VK score, with against the lowest implied run total on the slate. We kind of see Molly is up there. So that's a little worrisome that might go with the fade on Molly, but sometimes we just have to make some decisions. McClanahan, number two in K score and in BK score as well. So that kind of drives back home the point where I was talking about going McClanahan over Cole. Um, the Carnage report kind of dictates that, even though Cole has the better ISO and XWOBO matchup. Um, but we look for little things that make it to where our decision becomes easier to make. Um, I'm a big numbers guy, but I'm also a big guy in terms of watching games and getting a feel for what's going on. So when I put those together, that's what puts me on McClanahan a little bit more than Garrett Cole on this slate. So there we have it. Look at today's pitching options. If you enjoy what I'm doing for you, please hit the like and the subscribe button. Turn on notifications for DFS Army. You'll get notified of every video we post throughout the day and week. And if you enjoy the tools and want to get to become a part of the community, you can head to dfsarmy.com and use promo code RAZ. Get you 10% off your monthly membership. I will put links in the description below. And as usual, best of luck, everybody.